Hi, everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Erin.
And I'm Elsie.
Do you make a lot of wishes, Elsie?
Not really, because I'll be super disappointed if my wishes don't come true.
That makes sense.
Do you make a lot of wishes?
Sometimes. I mean, in the West, it's common to make a wish before you blow out your birthday candles on a cake. Or sometimes people like to make wishes at 11:11. So 11 in the morning and the 11th minute.
So here we make 3 wishes before blowing out the candles. And you say you make a wish at 11:11. Why 11:11?
You know, I'm not really sure. It's just always a thing that I've been told is something you do. So just one of those legends, I guess.
Cool. So do they ever come true, the wishes you make?
Well, I can't really tell you that. Then you would know what my wishes are and they wouldn't come true.
All right.
All right. Well, the story we're reading for our literature article today is all about making wishes and why you should be careful when you do.
Reading.
The Monkey's Paw. Mr. and Mrs. White, a retired couple, live with their adult son Herbert in the English countryside. One stormy night, Sergeant Major Morris, a friend from Mr. White's army days, pays the White family a visit. Morris has just returned from India. As they sit by the fire, he entertains the Whites with stories about his time there. One particular account, a tale about a magic monkey's paw, piques Mr. White's interest. Though Morris insists that the story is nothing special, Mr. White presses him to tell it. Finally, Morris tells the Whites that the paw can grant its owner 3 wishes. Drawing the paw from his pocket, Morris warns them that the wishes bring nothing but misery. Morris tells Mr. White that nothing good came of his 3 wishes. In fact, he considers the paw so horrible that he throws it into the fire. Shocked, Mr. White jumps toward the flames, saving the paw from harm. Before Morris leaves, he warns Mr. White again that to use the paw is to play with fire.
All right, today's article starts out by telling us who is in the story and where they live. It says, Mr. and Mrs. White, a retired couple, live with their adult son, Herbert, in the English countryside. Now there we described Mr. and Mrs. White as a retired couple, and we used the adjective retired to talk about them. Now this adjective, retired, is about people who have stopped working in their old age. Perhaps your grandfather is 60 years old. Now in Taiwan, this is the age that people usually start to retire. That's the verb form, R-E-T-I-R-E, retire. Now, after that, they don't need to work anymore. Here's an example sentence. My father is retired. Instead of working, he likes to go sailing on his boat.
Good. Retired 这个形容词呢，就是退休的。所以如果我们说 somebody is retired， 代表他已经退休了。那动词的话呢，我们把字尾的 d 拿掉就可以了，变成 retire. So, Erin, when do you think you'll want to retire?
Well, Elsie, wanting to retire and actually retiring are probably 2 different answers for me.
Different.
So, when do I want to retire? I would love to retire next year.
Next year?
When will I retire? Probably in my 70s.
Okay. 那这里呢，文章说到 Mr. and Mrs. White are retired. 他们退休了，然后跟儿子 Herbert 一起住在英国的乡村。
Okay, so Mr. and Mrs. White, Herbert, they're all sitting around at home, and here it says, one stormy night, Sergeant Major Morris, a friend from Mr. White's army days, pays the White family a visit. Now, we're kind of setting the scene here, and we've used this adjective stormy to do this. Now, the adjective stormy describes weather that is very windy and rainy, and likely with some thunder and lightning too. Now, we all know what stormy weather looks like here in Taiwan because of the typhoons that come to Taiwan in the summer and fall. Here's another example. I hate waiting for the bus or a taxi in stormy weather. I just want to be inside where it's dry.
Stormy weather is not good. Stormy 这个字呢，就是形容词暴风雨的。那如果你把字尾 y 拿掉，你会看到 storm。我们都知道 storm 是暴风雨的意思，所以你就会发现啦，原来啊有一些名词字尾加上 y 可以表示充满某物的，或是有某物特性的，就像是 health 健康，加了 y 变成 healthy 健康的。Salt 是盐，加了 y 变成 salty 咸的。Dirt 是灰尘，加了 y 变成 dirty 肮脏的。或者是 wealth 是财产，加了 y 变成 wealthy 富有的。So one stormy night, Sergeant Major Morris pays the White family a visit. Sergeant Major 是一种军阶，指的是军士长。What about the phrase to pay somebody a visit?
Now, this phrase just means that you visit someone. You're not giving them any money. They're not giving you money to come see them. It's just another way of saying that you're going to see them for a short time. So, to pay somebody or something a visit is just another way to say that you're visiting. Here's an example. I'm going to pay my Aunt Patty a visit next month. I haven't seen her in a while.
To pay somebody a visit 就是拜访造访某人啦。那这边的 visit 在片语里头哦，它当然是一个名词。那本身呢，它也可以当作动词，所以我们也可以说呢 Sergeant Major Morris visits the family, which means Sergeant Major Morris is a visitor. 他是一个拜访者。
Now let's find out a little bit about this Morris character here. It says, Morris has just returned from India.
哦，他是刚从印度回来的。
I guess this story is set a little bit back in history when India used to be an English colony. So maybe he was in the army there in India for the British Army.
哦，可能是因为以前英国殖民在这个印度。
That's right.
所以他会在那边。
Okay, so let's find out what they're going to do. You know, visitors come and they want to tell you stories, especially if they've been away. It says, as they sit by the fire, he entertains the whites with stories about his time there.
So we see entertain 这个动词，它是 keep people happy， 也就是娱乐别人，使别人开心的意思。But what are the stories about?
Well, there are probably a lot of stories, but we're going to learn about a certain one here. It says, one particular account, a tale about a magic monkey's paw, piques Mr. White's interest. Now, one of our words here is the word particular. It's an adjective. Now, when we use this adjective particular, we're showing that we are talking about one specific thing and not any others. So maybe they were telling lots of stories, but only one of these stories, this one about the monkey's paw, really was interesting to Mr. White. Here's another example. This particular area in Taipei is famous for the night markets.
Particular 这个形容词啊，是特定的某一个的。那 account 它这边代表的是描述、叙述，是个名词的用法哦。所以我们说呢 on this particular account, he tells a tale about a magic monkey's paw.
That's right. Now, we know what magic means. It's kind of when we do things that we don't really understand. So maybe this monkey's paw has special powers. But what are we talking about when we say a monkey's paw? A paw, this noun, is the foot of an animal, especially when it has nails or claws. Now, if you have a cat or a dog at home, you can just look at their feet. We call the feet of these cats or dogs paws. Here's an example. My dog hurt his paw, so he's having trouble walking.paw
这个字呢是猫狗或是一些动物的爪子或是脚掌。那 Mr. White, he's interested in the tale about a magic monkey's paw. It piques Mr. White's interest.
That's right. Elsie, this is an interesting word. We might not hear that too often in this magazine. It's the word pique, and it's not spelled how you might imagine. It's kind of spelled a bit funny. P-I-Q-U-E. So what does this word pique mean?
所以我们先看一下这个字的字尾哦，字尾是 Q-U-E， 它的发音是 K 的声音，像是 unique， 那这个字就是独特的，它的拼法也是 U-N-I 后面接 Q-U-E。 那搞定了发音之后，我们来看哦，这个片语 pique somebody's interest 代表的是引起某人的兴趣。那兴趣这个字呢，我们用到的是 interest 这个名词。那如果你是对这个东西这个事情有兴趣的，代表你感到有兴趣，我们会说 interested. I believe you guys are interested in English. I believe they are. What do you think, Aaron?
I think so too.
那另外一个形容词呢，就是 interesting. 那我们就可以说了 English is interesting to all of you.
That's right. Especially when you get to learn about cool stories like this.
Right.
All right. So we're not quite into the story about the monkey's paw yet, though. It says here, though Morris insists that the story is nothing special, Mr. White presses him to tell it. So what Morris is doing here is he's insisting the story is nothing special. What that might sound like is, oh no, it's nothing. It's nothing. You don't want to hear this story. This story is not very interesting.
But he said, hey, I'm going to tell you a story about a monkey's paw, but it's magic, but don't worry, it's nothing special.
Right. I don't want to tell you this story. No. So that's what he's doing when he insists. Now, insist, this verb, means that you're saying firmly and often that a piece of information or something is true, especially when other people think it might not be true. Okay? Or something is not true, especially when other people think it is true, kind of something like that. So here, Morris is trying to tell the Whites that this story really isn't special. No. You don't need to hear this story. He's doing this because he doesn't really want to tell them the story. However, Mr. White does think it's an interesting story, so he does want to hear it. Here's another example. Carrie insists that she locked the door last night, but I found it unlocked when I woke up this morning. So what she might be doing is, no, I swear I locked it. No, 100% I locked it. That's what she's doing when she insists.
所以 insist 这个动词呢，代表的就是坚决宣称某件事情。那 insist that 后面可以加出一个名词子句，带出呢你坚决宣称的事情是什么。
Okay, now let's also talk about what Mr. White is doing when he presses Morris to tell the story.
Press 这个动词呢是压或是催促、逼迫的意思。Mr. White presses Morris to tell the story 代表他催促逼迫他去说这个故事 which means he's really interested in the story.
That's right. So press here is kind of like another meaning of push or like please
do
this
Please
thing.
do it.
Yeah. Okay, so it says here in the article, finally, Morris tells the Whites that the paw can grant its owner 3 wishes.
Wow, grant 这个动词是授予，所以代表猴掌可以给他的主人 3 wishes, 3个愿望。
Okay, now, this is an interesting story, and the Whites really want to hear it. But before they can do, Morris has more to tell them. It says here, drawing the paw from his pocket, Morris warns them that the wishes bring nothing but misery. Now, here we use the phrase nothing but. We said nothing but misery. We sometimes say the phrase nothing but to mean only. So, Morris says the wishes don't bring good things. They only bring misery. Now, if I say nothing but a hot bath and a glass wine will make me feel better, then only a hot bath and a glass of wine will make me feel better. Here's another example. Judy wants nothing but her son to be happy and healthy.
Nothing but 这个片语就是仅仅或是只有的意思。And this Paul brings nothing but misery.
Exactly. So misery here is great suffering, usually caused by a bad situation. For example, if someone breaks up with you, you might experience misery for the first couple of weeks. You might feel really bad. You don't want to talk to anyone. You're kind of angry all the time. That's what misery is. Here is another example. Tony only realized what true misery was when he lost all of his money gambling.
Misery 这个名词呢是苦恼悲惨，那形容词也许同学们已经有听过了，是 miserable 悲惨可怜的。那 Morris 这边呢警告他们这个猴掌带来的只是会是痛苦而已哦。他边警告他们边拿出这个猴掌。While he's warning them, he was drawing the paw from his pocket. 这边的 draw 是动词没有错，不过不当画画来解释，我们当作拿出。He's taking the paw out of his pocket.
Okay, so continuing on, he tells them, it says here, Morris tells Mr. White that nothing good came of his 3 wishes. Okay, so what we learned in that sentence is that Morris did get 3 wishes from this monkey's paw, but nothing good came of those wishes. Now, came of something is a phrase, and we use this phrase to show that one thing happened as a result of another thing, or one thing causes something else to happen. So here in the article, for example, what Morris is saying is that all 3 of his wishes caused bad things to happen. Here's another example. I applied for that job, but nothing came of it. I guess I wasn't the right person for it.
所以如果我们看到 A come of B 代表是 A 它是 B 的结果。So nothing good came of his 3 wishes. 3个愿望都没有好结果。
Okay, so we're starting to see that he really doesn't like this paw.
No.
And it says here, in fact, he considers the paw so horrible that he throws it into the fire.
What? 我们看到 consider 这个动词是觉得或是认为。那我们说 consider something 后面加个形容词的话呢，代表的是觉得认为某事是如何的。Morris 认为这个猴掌太可怕了，所以他把它丢进了火里面。So he throws the paw into the fire after he says nothing good came of his 3 wishes, right?
That's right. But he's the only person who seems to not like this paw. It says here, shocked, Mr. White jumps toward the flames, saving the paw from harm.
哇，所以这边 shocked 这个形容词是在形容 Mr. White 的情绪。那这是有2个句子合并简化而来的分词构句哦。第一个句子是 Mr. White is shocked， 第二个句子是 Mr. White jumps toward the flames, saving the paw from harm。 那因为2句呢它的主词相同，所以我们将前面的主词去掉，那将句中的 be 动词改为分词 being， 再把 being 省略，之后就会是文章上面的句子了。 So what happens after he throws it into the fire?
Well, it says here, Before Morris leaves, he, that's Morris, warns Mr. White again that to use the paw is to play with fire. All right, now, the phrase play with fire is today's pocket phrase go. So we are going to take a quick break to learn more about that, and we'll be right back.
Pocket phrase go!
Hola, soy Dora. 我的朋友们，你们好吗？我就是爱冒险的朵拉。准备好要跟我一起去冒险了吗？今天我们要去一个 Baby Land， 在那里有很多的 baby。Oh no, the baby is playing with fire. 天哪，他在玩火，我们赶快去把火扑灭吧。同学，你一定有被爸爸妈妈、老师告诫过不能玩火，因为玩火实在太危险了，不止自己会受伤，还可能引起火灾。所以 playing with fire 玩火就可以引申为冒险，做很危险的事情，就像玩火焚身一样。例如she was playing with fire by cheating in the final exam 她在期末考试中作弊，简直是玩火啊。或者是呢 he knew he was playing with fire by playing mobile games in class 他知道上课的时候玩手机游戏是在玩火。Playing with fire 千万别做这种游走在道德边缘冒险的事情哦。
So don't use the paw, Mr. White, or you'll get yourself into trouble. 我们说 play with fire 的意思就是冒险啦。
All right, well, we have gone through about half of our story here, and, we did learn that maybe these wishes aren't so good, but Mr. White doesn't seem to be listening. So we unfortunately aren't going to find out what happens today, but stay tuned tomorrow. We will be back to tell you what happens in the story. For now, we'll get to today's For You chat.
For You chat.
All right, on today's For You chat, our question is, if you were granted a wish, what would you wish for and why?
Oh, I would wish for more money. I know it's not good, but that's the truth.
I mean, you could do lots of things with it.
Right. What about you?
I know exactly what I would wish for, and this is something, it's never changed over the past few years.
Really?
I would wish for an island, just for me. An island. I would like to have an island.
And you want to live on the island alone?
I would live on the island. Well, I would probably let a few of my friends come and live on the island with me. But yeah, it would just be my island, and it would have running water and, clean water so that we can drink and we can use it to grow vegetables. And
nice.
There would be some trees on the island so we could have some shade. And I would be able to build a house on the island.
Cool.
And I'd have a boat to get to the island. I have a lot of these things in my wish, actually. So I would probably have to word my wish so I could get all of those
and
things.
You have to invite me to your island.
Don't worry. Everyone can come and stay.
Yes.
All right. So that is what we would wish for. Pretty interesting things, but lots of things in those wishes. So what would you guys wish for? Why would you wish for that? I want to just get away from people sometimes, and an island is a good place to do that. But you guys can have a fun time answering this question too. So answer this question, and then we'll see you again here tomorrow to find out what happens with Mr. White's wishes.
See you.
Bye-bye.
The Monkey's Paw. Mr. and Mrs. White, a retired couple, live with their adult son Herbert in the English countryside. One stormy night, Sergeant Major Morris, a friend from Mr. White's army days, pays the White family a visit. Morris has just returned from India. As they sit by the fire, he entertains the Whites with stories about his time there. One particular account, a tale about a magic monkey's paw, piques Mr. White's interest. Though Morris insists that the story is nothing special, Mr. White presses him to tell it. Finally, Morris tells the Whites that the paw can grant its owner 3 wishes. Drawing the paw from his pocket, Morris warns them that the wishes bring nothing but misery. Morris tells Mr. White that nothing good came of his 3 wishes. In fact, he considers the paw so horrible that he throws it into the fire. Shocked, Mr. White jumps toward the flames, saving the paw from harm. Before Morris leaves, he warns Mr. White again that to use the paw is to play with fire.
Vocabulary Review.
Retired. Now that Nina is retired, she has lots of time to enjoy hiking in the mountains. Stormy. It can be really dangerous to drive on stormy days. Particular. The boy kept crying because he was unable to get the particular flavor of ice cream that he loved. Paw. I think a rat got into our kitchen last night, since I saw plenty of paw prints on the floor. Insist. The politician insisted that he didn't take the money, but nobody believed him, including the judge. Misery. Victoria was in misery after she married her bad-tempered husband.